Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves. And today I have a whole box. Normally, I want to do individual albums so that we don't wind up making huge piles of stuff. But here, the repertoire is so interesting and the whole box so worthy that I want to discuss it as a totality. It is this on Sono Luminus. This is the Eduardo Mata Latin American music series that he made with the Simón Bolívar Symphony Orchestra of Venezuela. Now, I happen to have had the privilege of being in Venezuela for some of these sessions, and it was really quite an experience. It was marvelous. Unfortunately, Eduardo Mata was also a pilot, and he was not as good a pilot, apparently, as he was a conductor, because he died in a plane crash shortly after, making these discs. And it was really just a tragedy because it was an amazing series, and he was a wonderful artist. He really was. So that was a real loss. But happily, we do have 6 discs. They were originally made for the Dorian label, and then that label's catalog was purchased by Sono Luminus, and they have been smart enough to box it up and issue it. Thank God. And it's still available. Yay! Oh boy. There's actually another box that also includes his Dallas recordings, some of which are also excellent. But this is really the jewel in the Mata discography. There's tons of Eduardo Mata, by the way. There's a whole edition that they devoted to him of recordings that he made in Mexico, but it's very hard to source, and I don't think all of it's available anymore. It would be very, very nice to see a sort of boxed up, Eduardo Mata thing of his non-Dorian recordings, and also of his RCA recordings, of which there are quite a few. Some of them are marvelous. He did great Ravel orchestral music, for example, and a wonderful pictures at an exhibition and things like that. So who knows what may come. But the bottom line is I want to tell you what is in this fabulous 6 CD box. I mean, it is... There's composers here you never heard of, there's music you don't know, and it's all just fabulous. So the first sort of dipping their toes into the repertoire that Dorian did was a disc that was produced in Venezuela by the orchestra, and very, very good sound. It consisted of Antonio Estévez, La Cantata Criolla, also known as Florentino, el que cantó con el diablo. Florentino, he who sang with the devil. Oh, this is a wonderful work. It should be as popular as Carmina Burana. It should be more popular. It is so much fun. It's about a farmer who is challenged by the devil, and they engage in a singing contest. And because Florentino keeps him singing until the sun comes up at dawn, but don't worry, the whole thing only takes like 30 minutes. Doesn't take that long. He wins. And, I don't know what he wins, but he wins. And he defeats the devil. And, the poem is nonsense. And the words are wonderful, wonderfully, flaky. It's all about birds and, native Venezuela flora and fauna. We don't care. It's just fantastic. And the best part is the singing contest, which is part 3. The most cool part, because it's based on a rumba version of the Dies Irae. It's cha 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 cha. Oh, it's just marvelous, absolutely marvelous, and wonderfully recorded. And the choir sounds great, and it's just a knockout of a piece. And you really owe it to yourself to hear it. And it's coupled with the Villa-Lobos Choros number 10. Which is also, a big crazy choral work. They're so much fun. It was just marvelous, and it alerted everybody out there to El Sistema, the system in Venezuela of, giving everybody musical instruments and training them through youth orchestras. I don't know what the story is with it now, given the political situation there and, how the country's basically tanked. But boy, it was marvelous for a while, and maybe it still is. When I was there, it was really cool. And this disc is incredible. This Estévez piece, the Cantata Criolla, you've got to hear it. You just got to hear it. It's great. So then we have a disc that contains, this is disc number 2. I'm going by the booklet here because these are not original jackets or anything like that, and it's just easier. It's sort of easier to do it this way. You've got the suite from Revueltas' film score, Redes, or Nets, the original of which has been restored. It's on Naxos, the entire film score, and you can get it either separately or you can get it with the actual movie, synchronized with a new performance, which is quite splendid. It's about the oppression of fishermen in a small Mexican village, and it's a wonderful score, absolutely first rate. And then Julian Orbon, a wonderful composer who was like so many Spanish composers. He wrote like 5 pieces of music. It's such a pity. There's a lost symphony in C that I was involved in trying to find. He was a Spanish composer, Julian Orbon, who wound up in Cuba. And the Symphony in C was supposedly performed in Venezuela, but it has vanished. And oh goodness, I wish they would find it, because what we have of him is splendid. Now, what we have on this disc is the Concerto Grosso for string quartet and orchestra with the Quarteto Latinoamericano and the Orchestra Sinfónica Simón Bolívar. Yes, they're just fabulous. It's a wonderful, wonderful, tangy neoclassical work that's absolutely brilliant. It's been recorded a couple of times, thank God. There are some other ones, but this is one of those discs that just blew my mind, and it alerted us to really a major composer, but there's so little music. There's a string quartet, there's a couple orchestral pieces, some shorter works, and that's it. Oh, it's frustrating. And then Ginastera's Pampeana number 3, which is his big one in that Pampeana series, with that great tune in the middle movement. Oh, it's just great. So that's another totally fabulous disc. Then we've got another, oh my, it's even better. No, the Orbon's orchestral masterpiece in some ways, the Tres Versiones Sinfónicas, 3 symphonic versions. Isn't that a nice title? There's another recording of that on Naxos. It's coupled with his symphonic dances, which are not in this series. That is such a marvelous work, especially the opening, which is just glorious. This recording particularly, was kind of low level. When it came out, you really got to crank it. When you do, it sounds fabulous. I mean, the sonics per se are superb, but you've got to really turn it up. It's a big, bold knockout of a piece, and the finale is a percussion fiesta. It's only like 2.5 minutes long. Fantastic. And then the Bachiana Brasileira, number 2, by Villa-Lobos, with the little train of the caipira at the end. And that's a charming performance. And then there's another piece by Antonio Estévez, who wrote La Cantata Criolla. Estévez later became an avant-garde electronic music guy, which sort of puts him out of bounds for most people, and that stuff I don't think has been recorded extensively. But here we get Mediodia en la Llano, which is midday, noon on the plain, a very still, somewhat, atmospheric piece of music. It's kind of like Holst's Egdon Heath, or something like that, one of those desolate landscape pieces. And then finally, Chávez, Sinfonia India, which we all adore, which is incredible fun. You get all the notes, by the way, in this booklet, which is really very helpful. Disc 4 is Falla's opera, La Vida Breve, and let's see who's in it. It's a very good performance, and just beautifully done. But let me see who's. Oh yes, Marta Sen is the victim. You know the story of La Vida Breve. Girl's going to get married. Girl sees her hubby dancing with another woman. She drops dead. That's the story. That's why it's a short life, and it's a relatively short opera. It's kind of like Cavalleria Rusticana goes to Spain. It's a little more elegant. It has less violence. It's not quite as down and dirty, but nothing happens at all. It has no plot until the last 5 minutes. The music is gorgeous up until that point. You've got the amazing Spanish dance that everybody loves. Oh, it's just great. So there's that, which is fun. And then we have, another Falla disc. You get El Amor Brujo. I was at these sessions, actually. I saw this one. El Amor Brujo, which is wonderful. This is all with Marta Sen, I think, is singing the 7 popular Spanish songs in someone or other's orchestration. It doesn't say whose it is here. It did on the original disc, which I have over there. I can go and look it up. But oh, they're so much fun. And the homenajes in the orchestral version, which is wonderful, and dances from the three-cornered hat. Now, the Simón Bolívar Symphony Orchestra is a huge orchestra. It's the pinnacle of the whole system of student orchestras that goes up through the provinces and culminates in this really first-rate orchestra with the professors playing with the students, and they've got 12 double basses, and it's huge string section and lots of extra people, as many people as they want, and they make a big sound, really big sound. It's beautiful performances. They really are. Could use a little more tam-tam in the three-cornered hat. Well, that's me. And then finally, on disc 6, let's see what we got here. Latin American ballets. This is wonderful. Again, Villa-Lobos, you get Oirapuru. Yes, Oirapuru. It's a bird. It goes fweep, fweep. It's kind of like a Brazilian version of the Song of the Nightingale by Stravinsky, or something like that. It's a big, beefy symphonic poem, 18 minutes long. And then you get the Chávez ballet, Horsepower, Caballos de Vapor, the Horsepower Suite, which is enormous fun and full of, Mexicanisms. And they are wonderfully, wonderfully orchestrated, and there's some fabulous tunes, and it's full of energy. And last but not least, of course, Ginastera's Estancia, which we've heard many billions of times. These are just fantastic performances, marvelously well recorded, and they're all in a nice little, not too expensive box. You really should just add the whole box to your collection because it solves so many repertoire issues with the highest quality performances and a memento of a really, really fine conductor, exploring his own musical heritage. There's so much great Latin American music. I mean, my goodness, and nobody plays any of it, and it pisses me off. It's just so not right. But there you go. It's available, and a lot of it is in this wonderful box. There we go. It helps to put it up straight there. So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.